Breaking Habits. Welcome to Tangent Tea, where we talk about recovery and addiction and other things. We talk about video games, we talk about art, we talk about cooking and nutrition and faith. We talk about dogs. I'm a big dog fan. I thought my Shandle over here just gave him his supper, and my goodness, 3 hours went by so fast. I didn't think I'd be here so late. Hi, Eric. Hi, Mr. Casey Jesus Freak. Good evening, beautiful friend. Hey, good evening to you too. Hey, Ann, how's it going? Hi, Nightmare. I'm doing good. I just made Shando some suppers, and he's doing so much better. He's had to switch his food around because he's allergic to that Costco dog food. And he had lots of scabbing and dandruff, and last time I took him to the vet, he was diagnosed with Kochi rods and yeast, and all that is disappearing like magic now because I changed his diet. It's like, no wonder the vet doesn't tell you what the root cause is, even though I kind of pressed them. Not enough, clearly, but they just want me to keep coming back and spending $500 every 2 weeks. That's why, you know? It's not lucrative for them to tell me what the root cause of his health issue is, you know? And if it's something like that, it's almost always rooted in a unbalanced GI tract. And that's my Shando. He's got a sensitive tummy. Hi. Thank you. It's actually not a dress. It's a shirt. I spilled a little water on it, but it's like that. Hey, how are you doing? Hi, Max. Oh, thank you. Hey, Abish. Hi, Lucas. Argentina or Spain? Oh, I don't hail from any of those places. Although I would love to go to Spain and see the sunsets there, because I've heard, well, after reading The Sun Also Rises, or is it Always Rises? It was Ernest Hemingway's first novel that he wrote. And it was written when he was like 27, I think. And he went to Spain, and his descriptions were so riveting, it made me want to go there, you know? Supposedly they have some of the most beautiful sunsets. But yeah, the sun also rises or always rises. I think it's also, maybe. Read that book like maybe 15 years ago. Hi. Argentina and Spain is in FIFA finals. Hello. Hi, Naughty Potato. How are you doing? Good to see ya. Oh, thank you. Forgive me again. Aw. Hey, Eric. Hello. You are looking really pretty tonight. Facts. Oh, thank you. Hope you guys are doing hunky-dory. Making myself a reading list because I want to get back into reading more like I used to. My top 3 favorite books, top 3, are East of Eden, Dr. Dogbody's Leg, and Watership Down. Watership Down is like the Lord of the Rings, but with bloodthirsty rabbits. It's awesome. My big brother introduced me to that book a long time ago when I was a teenager, and I have such fond memories with that book. And I'd go sit outside and read it. It was the perfect book to read outside because just the whole, setting of the rabbits, you know, on their journey and how things are described and the rabbits' names and all that. Especially in the spring or summertime when I can smell freshly mowed grass, I don't know, it all sort of makes me feel like I'm in the book when I'm outside reading it. It's a good one. Watership Down. I don't even have that book anymore. I used to have it. Such a good book. East of Eden's my top favorite, though. And then Dr. Dogbody's Leg, then Watership Down, I think. I don't know, it's hard to say. But East of Eden's like, that's one of the most important books I've ever read in my life. Anyone ever read the Red Wall series? That's a good one too. Haven't read that since I was like maybe 12 though. It's kind of a kid's book, a little bit, you know? If say, I don't know, I don't even think The Lord of the Rings is too complicated for a kid, but if it is, Red Wall or Narnia would be a good place to start if you're like a child and you like fantasy, you know. Hey, thank you for all the gifts, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you. Thank you, Amused Crocodile Heidi. Yeah, C.S. Lewis is good. Have you ever read Mere Christianity? It's a really good book by him. Here, let me share my info in case anyone would like to commission me. And by the way, it is 9 p.m. I didn't know I was going to get started this late. I was in the kitchen making Shando's supper, and it took me a while. And I was cleaning. So, yeah. I'm going to have a bit of a short one this time. But I'm going to share my info right here. My mom seems to be doing well, by the way. So that's good. What am I doing? Well, we're talking about, well, anything under the sun that we feel like talking about on here, but usually it's recovery and addiction topics. You know, recommendations, ways that we can distract ourselves or cultivate better habits. We were just talking about books a moment ago. Let me talk about video games. I'm a big fan of video games as well. And let's see. And we're a recovery and we're a recovery channel, and we talk about improving our lives for the better by making better decisions. We talk about that sort of stuff. We read the Bible at the end of every live stream, just like 5 verses or so. And you know, if anyone has any recommendations, I often read a little more. Yeah, I mean, that's why I changed my name from Diary of a Recovering Addict to Tangent T. The name of the channel is still Breaking Habits, kind of a spin-off of Breaking Bad. But Tangent T seemed more fitting because I don't know, that name just popped up in my head because I often go on tangents. And we're spilling the tea a lot here, so there you go. Let's see. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, folks. Oh boy. Is that the right one? Okay, it's just so small I can hardly see it. Instagram. My Instagram, by the way, if you'd like to check out my art, is anna.katrina.art. So it's ANNA.Katrina, KATRINA .art, ART. That's my Instagram. And if you'd like to join my Discord, it's emerald, like the gemstone, _wing, like the butterfly wing, _13473. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the coffee cups. Those are cute. Nice. Oh, thank you for the Uncle Alert. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ram. I'm not worrying about anything. What am I worried about? What do you think I'm worried about, man? I never expressed worry about anything. I mean, we all have worries in the back of our mind or in the forefront, whatever. But I don't know. I'm pretty chill. Just got some work done. Would I drop $300 on a pair of jeans? Are you asking me if I would spend $300 on a pair of jeans? Hell no. Hell no. I can get myself a decent pair of Levi's for between 30, like 30 bucks or so. I don't know. Sometimes it's a little more expensive depending. Between 30 and 50, usually a good pair of Levi's, but they're good quality jeans and they'll last me a long time, you know? It's not a bad value considering. I've seen more expensive than that for good jeans. Hello, hello. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you, Drenang. Thank you for the cheers. Oh, reminds me of my tea. I'll go get that. I'll have some tea. Got some oolong tea. If anyone else has a drink. Cheers. All right. Oh, thank you, it's Nix. Oh, thank you, Tori. The State is a great fiction that everyone tries to live on the coast of everyone else. Okay, I've never heard of that. Am I in the state? I'm from the Pacific Northwest. That's where I'm from. Oh, okay, that's why you changed it. I thought it was because you liked trigonometry and calculus. I wish I knew how to do that. And I mean, I was homeschooled. We never made it to calculus. And I'm not good at math. I could probably be better at math if I didn't live my entire life telling myself I was bad at it. Because, oh, no one in our family is good at math, so might as well, like... I just think that's kind of toxic. Like, you don't, I guess, I mean, I don't think I'd be good at math regardless. Not many people in my family are. But I'd be dishonest if I were to deny that there was a certain seed of doubt planted in me from a young age telling me that I can't do math, you know? It was kind of weird, but that's just the way it is, I guess. I had to go. Thank you very much, Astro. Hi, looking great tonight. I hope your day's good. Thank you. I had to go to these annual, like, placement tests when I was a kid. It was like reading comprehension, writing comprehension, and math. You know, I'll just say that when I took the same type of thing before going to college, and I placed 99 in reading, like 91 or something in writing, and like 56 or something in math. I mean, roughly. But when I was a child, when I was a little kid, I had to go to these placement tests. I was in grade school, not even high school, or even junior high for that matter. I was really young. And it was funny because I had 8 siblings, but it was only my big brother and I had to go and do this. And before, I mean, we had to prepare, but I was so anxious that I was so full of anxiety, both social, both like test anxiety, all that. I wasn't used to that. I was always homeschooled, so I had so much anxiety that I couldn't even focus on anything. I didn't even really study before going, so I wouldn't know what to do. I did all right on the reading and writing, but the math, I couldn't do it because I was having a literal panic attack each and every time we had to do that. I wasn't very lucky, considering that none of my other siblings had to do it. And it wasn't like because I got, it has nothing to do with me really, or anybody else for that matter. It's just, I don't know why they chose the oldest son and the oldest daughter. Didn't really make much sense, except that it's less work and it's proof that that we're being, evaluated, if you will, that we're in the system, that sort of thing. It was more like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. But like that wasn't something that anyone really wanted to do. But yeah. Oolong tea. Kombucha to reset my gut health. Kombucha's good. I love kombucha. Thank you, Joseph. We're all children of God, in my opinion. Well, I mean, I know that. We're all children of God. That's what's up. Greetings from Russia, my friend. Hi, K2LF. How are you doing? Hey, Alice. Good to see you again. What is that picture? That almost looks like I don't know, like a little fish from SpongeBob or something. I can't. I don't even know. Nice. Thank you, Mason. Good name, by the way. I like the name Mason. Hey, Alice. Now, we're going to have a very short live stream, unfortunately, because, yeah, I was doing housework and making Chando's food, and it took a while. It took like 3 hours. I was planning on being here by at least 7 o'clock, but, yeah, we're going to have a shorter one, about an hour or so. So, hey, you look fit. Congrats. Oh, thank you, Wyoming. Hey, Hassan, thank you. You look amazing tonight, Anne. Thank you, Joseph. There was a school located in the building we live in. That's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. When I lived in student housing in the mornings, I would hear the choir at like early in the morning, and it was just such a beautiful, peaceful vibe. You know, just hearing the beautiful, like it sounded like angels first thing in the morning. I would love to wake up to Gregorian chant. I love Gregorian chant, man. Nice biceps, thank you. That's what's up. Well, thank you, David. How is recovering going? Stay strong. Thank you, one speedy boy. It's going well. It's going well. I don't have any cravings. I'm doing A-okay. Math and chemistry are like learning a language. You just have to learn procedures. Precisely. And with me, I did all right with like linear equations, polynomials, and stuff like that. I mean, there are a lot of people who can't even do like division and multiplication now because our system is so messed up. I can do that, but I can't go beyond basic algebra, I don't think. I'll bet if I were to get back into it, study it, practice it, I'd be able to do it. And maybe I've actually heard that it's better to get someone into studying and practicing math when they're older, because kids don't understand that. I mean, when I was a kid, one reason why I was so anxious about math was that there was no direction. I had no idea, like, why am I doing this? Why am I filling out this procedure? Is it all just memorization? And if so, I'm going to lose that really quickly. Like, even when I was a kid, I was thinking that, like, what's the use of this? Am I ever going to use it? No, probably not, you know? I mean, it's a good brain exercise, but yeah, I mean, most people place pretty low in math, actually, in this country at least. Like math 60 is the average, I've heard. Oh, here comes a troll. How cute. What's my real name? Anne. Funny how all these guys are kind of hitting on me, telling me I'm cute, you know, asking me if I'm single, telling me I'm gorgeous in some cases. Then you have this one guy asking me if I'm a man. You know, it's obvious that I'm not a bad-looking chick. And I think that these guys are so insecure and lonely and have been either mistreated by women or rejected by a lot of women. I don't know. But they have a lot of pent-up resentment. And it's become so toxic. It's been stewing and festering so much within them that they have to go to someone's random live stream, any chick they can find, and try to make them feel lesser or just deprecate them, berate them, you know. And it's just so fucking cringe. It's just so cringe. You can tell that these people are very insecure. I mean, I'm I'm confident in myself, you know. I listen to the people who matter in my life, you know. And, you know, I'm not being arrogant, but I am not a bad looking person. That's just, you know, the way it is. You know, I mean, I don't think I'm like a 9 or a 10 or whatever, but at least a 7 or a 7.5, I would say, you know. Yeah. But yeah. You don't look nothing like a man. Thank you, Alice. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I know it's that to them it's an insult. It's a way of, it's like if you were to do it to a guy, it would be emasculating, right? I don't know if there's a term for doing that, berating women like that. Maybe it happens so often that it's like there isn't even a special word. You know, it just is what it is. You know how it's like, I'm not even like feminist, and I do not like modern feminism, okay? But there are certain patterns you notice where, if like in language, the way we speak, when you tell someone to be like a man, it's usually a good thing, you know? Fight like a man up, you know? Have integrity, man up, right? And then if it's a girl, it's like you run like a girl, you fight like a girl. There's always a negative connotation to that. Calling someone a sissy, you know, there's always a negative connotation to telling someone to, you know, be like a woman or whatever, you know? And it's kind of weird. Just kind of weird to me. I don't know why that is exactly. Except that we're perceived of as weak, maybe physically, but man, oh man, I mean, we go through, I mean, the strength doesn't only apply to physical advantage, muscles, it doesn't only apply to brawn. I don't know if men could deal with periods, cramps even, let alone childbirth. I mean, there's a thing where we're built for it, of course. But that's the thing. I've heard, and I'm not sure how true this is, but women are better at handling like long-term pain, and men are better at handling fast, like short-term pain. Just like, say, men are better at like handle, like if God, I don't know, if he gets shot, I guess. I don't know, actually. I have to look that up. I'm not sure. Some people are so miserable they try to make everyone else that way. Exactly. Insecure. It's sad. A woman just got the world record by rowing several days for rowing from Cali to Hawaii. That is awesome. Wow. Yeah, I mean, women are resilient. We're very resilient, man. Especially when it comes to our families and our kids and stuff. We're very resilient. And that's the thing, we have to be. We have to be around for our offspring. It's evolution. We have so many strengths, but they're not as like apparent, you know. And oftentimes people perceive like being emotional as weakness. I mean, I've seen guys get pretty damn emotional when their game's not going the way they want it to. I've seen guys get so emotional over a football game. I tell you what, there was even that one guy who literally ended his wife's life because she wasn't as interested in it as he was. Now, of course, that's like, that guy was a psycho, and that doesn't like happen all the time, but people do get so bent out of shape over sports, you know? I think that if women were bent out of shape over something they were fond of, we'd get a lot of shit for it, you know? It wouldn't, like, why are you so serious about that, you know? Any little, you know, we're seen as petty in a lot of cases. And I'm just saying, I'm just noticing things, you know? I'm not like a modern feminist. I don't like that shit at all. I don't like it because it's not about equality. It's about retaliation and like, you oppressed us, no, we're gonna oppress you. You know, it's the opposite of equality, and oftentimes it's insulting and damaging to women too. You know, they act like being feminine is a bad thing. You know, they want to become men while also kind of acting like they hate men. And I think that's really weird and kind of hypocritical. A bit of a paradox right there. I don't like it. This outfit's saying looks like a Greek princess. Thank you, human. It's the bad women who ruin it for the good ones. Same with us. Exactly, precisely. And the same goes for men. And that's why I always say there are good men and bad men. There are good women and bad women. You know. And, you know, it's like the bad ones, they'll use whatever advantages they have to use people, you know? Whatever it is. Some people are crafty and manipulative. Some people are physically, like, violent. And, you know, people, they're just bad people in the world. I don't know why people always have to make it a gender thing when really it has nothing to do with it, you know? We'd be screwed if all women were like bad, like so and so. You know, it's you know, if that were the case, you know, if I thought that all men were bad, I'd feel very lonely and depressed, and like I'll never find someone. You know, I would just give up, just because, you know, and I did not have good luck with my first significant other. I was with him for 4 years. During the first year, we were good friends. He asked me out 3 times. I rejected him 3 times, and I never heard the end of it throughout the entire relationship. Like, what I did was just so heinous. You know, how dare I ever reject him? But I was also beaten. I was cheated on. I was choked. I was beaten unconscious at one point. Had my head smashed into the side of the house at one point. He took a knife and cut my painting up that I painted a portrait of him and me. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Like, if my feet shuffled on the pavement, I would not hear the end of it. If he was annoyed by anything, you know, he'd scream at me in a restaurant to humiliate me. Just that kind of stuff, you know. It wasn't very nice. And but that doesn't mean I think all men are like that. I hold on for the good men out there, and I've loved good men in my life, and I know that they're out there. It's just, you know, we live in a world where we're kind of governed by fear in terms of just socializing with people. You know, it gets harder and harder to go out and, you know, be sociable with people when I'm already an introvert, and just it's easier to just sit in the house and do things and just play games or, you know, help my family out. Everything that's just immediately here. I already have a lot on my plate, so it's like, but at the same time, man, I would love to meet someone good. But that, you know, if it's gonna be anything sincere and authentic, it's gotta be sort of happenstance, you know? I can't, that's one of those things, when it's good, when it's really good, I mean, not always, but I feel like my chances of a successful relationship, a long-term one, would be if I'm just doing what I love, going about doing what I love, being myself, and then I'm gonna meet someone who loves me for me and doesn't try to change me or compare me to other women constantly or whatever, you know? Then, yeah, get compared to ice cream after he cheats on me, you know? Like that, my ex was trying to manipulate me into an open relationship, but that didn't work out. Yeah, I'm glad I left. I'm glad I left that. I was so naive and stupid back then. I don't know about stupid, but naive as fuck. And I had Stockholm syndrome. I thought it was my fault. And even when I was going to work, and I got fired because I was late too many times. And the reason why I was late so many times was when I worked in the deli. I worked in every department in that store and was always there on time until that period when he was beating me. And I would go in there and I'd have to explain why I got all these damn bruises on my face. It was bad. It was bad, man. And of course I lied. I didn't want to tell him. I was like anything to save this asshole's name and reputation. Like, this is my fault. You know, like, I can't believe it. I can't believe I thought like that. I was 21, 22, 23. Yeah, it was bad. I've never had a good relationship, and many times it was because of me. Now I stay single because I don't want to break anyone else's heart. Oh, man. I've broken hearts, too, but that's when I've rejected people, and it's inevitable, man. We're gonna, as long as you're doing the right thing and you're not intentionally trying to hurt someone, I think the most important thing in a relationship is just honesty. You know, if it's not working out, just be honest about it, even if you have to painfully sever it. You know, it's better than letting it just kind of fester. And I don't know, but I wish you all the luck in the world, man. And here's the thing, I think we all deserve love. I think we all deserve love. We all deserve happiness. We all deserve to be loved. Human connection and closeness is just fundamental to, like, the human experience. It's one of the best feelings you can ever have, is actually being in love with someone and having them love you back. You know? But gotta be careful. There are a lot of psycho narcissists out there, for lack of a better term. You know? I mean, I didn't know anything about, you know how that, like therapy vocabulary that's going around everywhere? Like, everyone's saying narcissist. They don't even know what the fuck it means even. Like, they're calling everyone narcissist, which is just, it's always the same people. I think we all know who I'm talking about. They have to apply, like, they have to misuse these words, or just, they use these words so incorrectly that they decimate the meanings of these words. They make these words seem pettier than they are, you know, not as, I mean, just loses its meaning. Like when you call people Hitler or Nazi all the time, then those words lose their meaning, you know? Yeah, it's kind of the same with people going around calling everybody narcissist, you know? It's like, there's a list of boxes you gotta check off before you can go and diagnose someone with something like that. And I'll just say that the thing with my ex, man, he checked all the freaking boxes. I'll tell you what, man. One of the main things, and I didn't know anything about this shit back then. No one talked about this shit. Love bombing was like one of the number one things. I tried breaking up with him several times, but he made it seem like, oh, that, you know, I still love you, and I'll try to be better, and I'm so sorry. I truly thought he was sincere. I had a fucking good heart, man. I had a good heart, and I still do, you know. But that's the thing about getting older. You don't take shit anymore. You can be kind, but you don't have to take anyone's shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, no one should ever be treated that way, ever. That's the thing, you know, and I was naive, and I wished I would have had someone to teach me, or not, I don't know about teach, just, I wish I had someone to advise me around that time, because, I don't know, man, it was turbulent, that's for sure. It just changed overnight, that person. As soon as they had me in their pocket, total 180, total shift in personality. Sad. A lot of men are narcissistic too, man, not just women. But yeah, you're one of those people who, just because you don't, maybe I just said something political you didn't like, you know? I criticized the left, and now you're going around calling me narcissist. That's really the only reason why you're saying that. I could guarantee it. Anytime I hint even that I voted for Trump or whatever, that I criticize the left, I have criticism for the right too, you know. I'm not like either this or that. I'm more like, I lean conservative, but I am more towards the middle, if that makes sense to you. But yeah, I mean, it's always these guys with the, if I try to make a point, they just call me names or say something really hateful to me or put me down, or there's never any, like, it doesn't even relate to the topic of discussion because they can't even argue my point. you know they don't care about what's right and wrong. They only care about it so long as it pushes their agenda and their narrative. you know no, I mean, I would say I'm more like a 90s Democrat. That's the way I mean, that's basically conservatism these days. Or, that's basically the Republican side these days. They're like 90s Democrats now, just like Trump is like a 90s Democrat. Pretty much. You guys, when the left has gone from, again, and I've mentioned this before, you've gone from class warfare and class issues to identity politics and obsessions over, you know, trying to indoctrinate children, and it's just weird, man. It's weird. Yeah, when we try to not even confront, but approach you about it or have a reasonable discussion, all I get is a word salad and name calling. It's like, literally, these guys love to use the pigeon on the chessboard analogy, but even when I'm watching, like, I don't know, Nick Shirley or whoever, people who go around interviewing people all over the place, even like liberal, like sanctuary cities like New York or Portland or whatever, like, all the liberals these days are just, there's just word salad. It's just word salad and avoidance, avoiding the question, going off topic, calling the person names. There are people who actually think that you can be LGBT and go to Iran or Saudi Arabia and be completely A-OK hunky-dory, and that everyone will be even more accepting of you there. Well, guess what? No, you won't be. No, you won't be. You're not allowed to be gay there. But, strangely enough, you are allowed to be trans because they see that as fixing the gay. Isn't that fucked up? You got people who, I mean, literally, some of these lefties are going to these countries thinking that, like, challenge accepted. Someone comes up to them and asks them a question about this topic, and they're like, oh yeah, I think I'd be treated way better there. They're like, oh, would you like for me to buy you a ticket? Sure. And then they go to this place and they realize, oh my gosh, it's not good. Oh yeah, I feel good. Those earrings tell me she's classy. Oh, thank you, Wiz Flipper. Yep. Thank you, Joseph. Yep. I was too young to protect my sister. She took it all out of me. I'm sorry, Daryl. I wish we could all have better relationships with our sisters, I know how you feel there to an extent. The only label that fits is human, yeah. Absolutely. Also, Democrats calling everyone a Nazi if they love Cuba and North Korea. Exactly. They want to make this a communist nation. Where the elite get everything they need, but the rest of society, we won't have, like, clean water, we won't have power or electricity, that's the way it is in Cuba. They got rations. You think it's right for a janitor to make the same amount of moolah as a doctor, a surgeon, someone who's saving lives? Absolutely not. I do think that there's something needs to be done about the homeless crisis. Gavin Newsom made it all worse. Did you know California hosts 25% of the homeless crisis in America? 25%. And you know what's really funny? Portland is really bad. Portland, Oregon. you know. I go down there from time to time. Well, guess what? I see homeless people everywhere, and it's not even in the top 5. So that should tell you something about how bad the homeless situation is in California. It's like it goes California, and then it goes okay, Washington would be the third. Okay, California, New York, Washington. I gotta look it up and see what the other ones were. I think well, Seattle, Washington. I might think it might be the third. I thought Albuquerque would be on there. I think Massachusetts is on the list. I mean, if there's like a, out of 10 list, I'm sure Portland would be on there. It's really bad here. Surprised that it doesn't even make the top 5. Hey, from Scotland, any chance of a smile? Yeah, I've been smiling. I don't smile for no reason unless I actually feel it, I mean, but yeah, I try to be engaging and good with y'all's. You're building up an amazing channel. Thank you, Nikki. Nikki from Texas. Man, I would love to go to Texas. I would love to live there, actually. You ever notice that a lot of successful YouTubers live in Texas? You got Asmongold, you've got Oompaville, you've got Blair White, It's interesting. I wonder why that is. I wonder if it's because, well, I don't know. I mean, I could understand, like, that they're, if they lean conservative or Republican, then that, would be a more friendly place than, say, LA, But, I don't know. Thank you. Oh, man. I mean, I can't believe how fast my channel's growing, guys. Thank you very much. It's, again, I went from... So it took me about 3 years, I think. It doesn't seem like 3 years, but it was 3 years. Because that's how long, I mean... Actually, not 3 years. I had 2.5 years. But it took about that much time for me to go from like 0 to 422 subscribers, which back then I thought was a lot. And then I started live streaming mid-January this year, and we are nearing 8,000 subscribers now. Actually, we're getting there, but we got 7,200, I think. 7,220, I think. So, I owe it to you guys. Let's help this channel reach more people who wanna, seek recovery and cultivate better habits. And I mean, again, I'm not perfect. I mean, I still have some bad habits here and there. But I'm not doing heroin, and I'm not drinking, and I'm not smoking cigarettes, albeit I am vaping, and yeah, I would love to quit that. It's expensive too, I have an oral fixation. You came a long way. Thank you, Joseph. You seem pretty cool. Thank you, Asting. I want to move to Tennessee. Ooh, that's a cool place. Never been there. No, LA was allowed to burn down not long ago. It's not a nice city. It certainly is not. It certainly is not. It's unbelievable. The home of the elites, the home of Hollywood, other than New York. Like so many rich people there, and yet look at all the homeless people. That's inexcusable. And do you notice, did you look into the fact that billionaires and millionaires are leaving these places like New York, where Mum Dummy, who supports terrorists, by the way, I'll just say allegedly for YouTube, but we know it's true. He was talking with Hassan. He was having a pleasant little get together with Hassan, who clearly supports terrorism. Clearly. Asmongold talks about this all the time. They both kind of, go back and forth. But my God. No, this guy is just horrific. He literally supports the... I gotta be careful about what I say, right? But you know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. Unbelievable. Let's see. Forgot what I was gonna look up. Mom Dummy lunches taxpayer-funded parents' night out babysitting program. What the fuck? I don't even know what the fuck that is. What the hell is that? Hello, hi William. Joyzy. Nice. I drove through MLK Boulevard in LA and it was like driving through Mogadishu, Somalia. Don't surprise me. Can you imagine what Skid Row looks like? I mean, that place has looked like shit for a long time, but for it to get worse than it is, it's crazy. Let me see. I'm gonna look up those statistics again. Okay, so states. Whoops. States with highest homeless percentage. Okay, yeah, fucking hey, Oregon isn't even here. So surprised. Oh no, Oregon is there. Never mind, it's 8 though. California and New York have the largest overall homeless populations in the U.S., with California housing nearly, roughly, 187,000 individuals, and New York reporting over 158,000 unhoused individuals. I'm gonna move you guys over here, yeah? Together, these states account for almost half of the country's entire unhoused population, driven primarily by severe affordable housing shortages. The top 10 states with the most homeless people are as follows. California, 184 people homeless. New York, 158,019. Washington, 31,554. Florida, 31,362. Massachusetts, 29,360. Texas, wasn't expecting that. But it's a very big state, right? And also, if I were homeless, I'd want to go live somewhere where it's sunny. I wouldn't want to be out in the cold. Like, Oregon is one of the worst places to be homeless. Tell you what. Shit. It's always rainy, you know. Humid in the summertime. You get all sticky and gross. But Texas, 27,987. I would not have expected it, however, to be worse in terms of homeless or more homeless people than here. But again, it's a huge state, so. Illinois, 25,832. Oregon, 22,875. Colorado, 18,715. Arizona, 14,737. Yeah. Top 10. Wow. Crazy. Crazy. Let me see what the best state is in terms of homelessness. I'm curious about that, too. State. Oops. State with lowest homeless population. Mississippi. Mississippi has the fewest people experiencing homelessness in the United States. I also heard it's like the fattest state. Colorado's the skinniest state, for some reason. I guess there's lots of hikers and health nuts in Colorado, you know. There's this one city where, like, you never see anyone overweight, pretty much. They're very much into, like, cycling and jogging and hiking and all that good stuff. Mississippi has the fewest people experiencing homelessness in the United States, with less than 1,000 unhoused individuals. When adjusted for population, Mississippi also has the nation's lowest homelessness rate. Oh, so I guess there's a difference between unhoused and homeless. Huh. Wow. Ain't that interesting? Interesting. So, like, ooh, Idaho seems pretty good. Definitely, California's the worst. And look at this. Look at this. You have California's like completely black, and then you have New York is like navy blue, and then you have the ones that are like second to that. They're like dark yellow, like tan. Wow. Yeah, I'd expect for there to be more homeless people in Florida as well. I don't know. Blair left us. She went to live in California. We'll miss her. Oh, yeah, she did. That's because it's not because of like politics or anything like that. She had to like elaborate on that because people got stupid about it. She went there because she has more like family connections and stuff like that. That's the reason why. But I'll bet she'd feel happier in Texas, you know, unless she's super close with her family, and you know it's good to be around family. I was guessing that maybe some of her family members might be having some health concerns, and that's why she had to move down there. Or up, I should say. Hi, Dawn. Yep. Oh, they want oppression. They want to be victims. That's the thing. We were talking about this yesterday. These people have to have a whole list of various ailments, like they're catching Pokemon on their profile pages. Like, I'm non-binary, turtle dove, jacuzzi, and I identify as a pizza roll. There we go. What's the difference? Why do I don't try to talk like Asmund. No, I don't. I talk the way I talk. I don't know, but he's pretty opinionated. Maybe people just sound that way when they're a little opinionated about things. And I also mention him because I find him very inspiring, but I don't copy people. I don't know what you're talking about. That's weird that you'd say that. The homeless go to Hawaii. Yeah, Hawaii has it pretty bad, actually. Per capita. Yeah, I think, what are the stats per capita? I think it was Hawaii. Let me look it up. Yeah, let me look this up. Okay. States with most homelessness per capita. Nationwide, the U.S. states with the highest homeless rates per capita are Hawaii, 805 per 100,000 residents. New York, 795 per 100,000, and Oregon. Ooh, Oregon's pretty bad per capita, man. Doesn't surprise me one bit. That's why it surprised me before when I didn't see it right away. 535 per 100,000. The Federal District of Washington, D.C. also consistently ranks at the top with a rate of 800 per 100,000 residents. Wow. Who is this even published here? The population-adjusted figures frequently track with local housing shortages, strict zoning laws, and exorbitant rental costs rather than general state population sizes. Wowzers. Something's got to be done about that, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think we need, a lot of these people are really mentally ill, too. And they need to be taken care of in some institution. Thing is, like, mental institutions used to be really bad. Like, there was a lot of, like, abuse that went on there, and really terrible things, human experimentation, that sort of thing. But Like, we tore them down and decided to completely just abolish it. When in fact, I think that we should have mental institutions again, but we should ensure that we don't have bad people running them like we did before. Instead, we threw the baby out in with the bathwater, and we have people with issues, mental health issues on drugs, homeless, or in some cases committing crimes, and making it difficult for certain businesses when they like sleep in their doorway and all that. These people need to be actually taken care of. And that comes from from a place that's well-meaning. I mean well there. I'm not like, I don't want for anything bad to happen to these people. I think it's terrible that they're on the streets and there's really nothing anyone can do. People walk over these people like they're not even human. We become desensitized to this sort of thing, and it's just really disturbing to me. What about homeless proportional to the population? Let me just see. Let me look it up. Okay. In the U.S., approximately 1 out of every 455 people, about 22 out of every 10,000 people, experience homelessness on any given night. This is based on the Department of Housing and Urban Development (HUD) annual report, which tallies over 745,000 unhoused individuals across the country. Because homelessness fluctuates by region and demographics, the unhoused population is not even evenly distributed. There's state and local rates. The rates of homelessness in your area is among the highest in the nation. Across Oregon, there are over 27,000 unhoused people. In the Portland-Multnomah County area, which includes nearby Hillsborough, around 7,000 individuals are experiencing homelessness. Demographics for younger adults aged 18 to 25, the rate is much higher, with 1 out of every 10 young adults experiencing homelessness at some point during the year. Wow. That's crazy. But yeah, doesn't surprise me one bit. Thank you, Prince. Thank you for the gifts, guys. Very kind of you. Yeah, New York is pretty high there. I mean, that doesn't really surprise me. And just look how expensive it is, the living situation there. Just getting a tiny little shoebox apartment is just crazy. Don't think I could ever afford that, even if I had a good job, I think this is a good job. We're getting there. I'm selling paintings too, which is great. I walk the neighbor's dog. I just trying to get to a place where it's where I can where it's just reliable, sustainable. I work hard. The number one thing we can do for the homeless is to keep drugs off our streets. It's the drugs keeping them out there. Yep, there's that. And also mental health. I knew someone who was homeless and they never did drugs. This person had schizophrenia. And I remember he'd come to the cafe. He was a regular there. He'd just hang out around there because we were nice to him. He was from Japan, and his parents would mail him money from Japan. I went and saw him open up the envelope, and it was like $10. It was crazy. But anyway, something like that. But he, like, the guy was so out of it. I remember one summer at the cafe, it was like 100 something degrees. It was very hot. It was over 100 degrees. I remember it very clearly. And he was wearing this big ass heavy coat. Big, dirty, heavy ass coat. You know, something like, even if it was like November, that would be too hot to wear. It looks like something you'd wear to the Arctic. No, seriously. And it was filthy. And so, I mean, it wasn't the filthiness that concerned me so much. It was just how he's going to die of a heat stroke, what I was afraid of. So I'd bring him, first of all, I brought him a plastic bag. And I said, hey, you can keep your coat in here. Well, it's so hot out here, you know. He just stared at that bag. Didn't do anything with it. Don't remember. If he did anything with it, I don't remember. Probably just took it and stashed it with all his other junk. And he just like write out random like words and symbols and shit on a piece of paper. And I went out there, I'm like, oh, I could see he's not using the bag. So would you like to have this bag of ice? Gave him a bag of ice. He just stared at it. Didn't want anything to do with it. And he's just sitting there with sweat pouring down, the worst body odor. And he's wearing a coat that looks like the hottest freaking coat ever. Like, it's just ridiculously, it just looks like not even, it looks like a feather coat you'd wear to the Arctic or something. It's just, yeah, I mean, I've met people like that, and I don't ever see them like on drugs or anything. They're just mentally ill, you know. So I think like people like that need to be taken care of. You know, I wouldn't even be surprised if he's not around anymore. I mean, he was around the area the entire time I worked at that place. He might still be around, but you know, it's amazing how much the human body can adapt to, you know? I genuinely think mental institutions and elderly living centers still experience tons of abuse, sadly. Yeah, I agree. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. We need to dismantle these places and build them back up with better people who care about improving the world and helping people, you know? You got a lot of bad people at these institutions, absolutely. They got rid of all the mental institutions. I've explored a bunch of them that have been shut down. Yeah, a lot of them are like creepy abandoned buildings for sure. I do like the ocean is so close. Oh yeah. Yeah, you know, I do love Oregon not because, I mean, our government and politics here are really bad, but at least we have so much in terms of just, we have the ocean, we have forests and places to go hiking, like national parks. We have the desert, like the Oliver Desert, and beautiful places there. We've got, you know, we got some really cool stuff in Oregon. But it's a good place to go camping or go on a vacation, you know. You can go to a coastal rainforest and camp right by the ocean, which is pretty cool. But yeah, if I'm going to live anywhere, I have a huge affinity for the ocean, so I'd want to live somewhere where I'm close to the ocean. I wouldn't have anything, you know, against that. And there are conservatives who live here, just they're not loud, and they don't, you know, I guess there aren't as many, but I was surprised that I have like 6 conservative friends here, you know. It's like they gravitated to me almost like they knew that I was, you know, on their side, although I wouldn't have admitted it back then. You know, not only was I naive, but I was afraid of losing friends and family. And it took me getting better and recovering and realizing that, you know, I've got nothing to lose. I'd rather keep my integrity than try to please everybody when they're gonna either disown or try to cancel me or lie about me, slander me, call me names, hurt my feelings, whatever. They're gonna be terrible to me if I so much as say, hey, you know what? I think I may have had Trump derangement syndrome. And I have my criticisms of Trump. He's not perfect. But he sure as hell is better than Kamala Harris. You know, I'm disappointed with the Epstein files, but he was the only one, you know, talking about how he was going to release them. And that's one thing that makes me really disappointed. But other than that, I mean, there could be a good reason for that. There are lots of things that he has accomplished. Keeping our country safe, the border, you know, helping the people of Iran escape the tyranny and the abuse of their system, of their government. You know, people, you know, just normal people, citizens in Iran don't want to live like that. I'll bet some of them remember better times back before whatever happened in the 70s when women could, you know, they just looked like normal people. They weren't treated like cattle. I'll bet a lot of citizens there miss the way things were back then. And they tell, you know, it's like, just imagine having your mom or someone tell you, I remember back in the good old days when I was allowed to walk outside like a normal person and have a good time with everybody else, but now I'm treated like a freaking cattle. That's just the way things are, kids. This is terrible, man. No one wants to live like that. You know, people in Cuba, they actually want Trump to come and help them. Normal people. Not the elites. Not the people who have an agenda. You know? Not the people who gain power from it. Thank you for deleting these assholes. This stupid ass Mickey spamming. What a weirdo. Thank you, Lewis. Not experimenting on humans, mainly involuntary confinement was the alleged problem. I thought there were a lot of lobotomies. I guess that's not like necessarily experimentation since they already know what's gonna happen, sorta, but this one guy who basically invented lobotomies, you know, sticking a pick right through your eye socket into your brain. Like this guy was able to operate, and he was a pseudo doctor. He was able to operate and do all this stuff for decades. I think this stuff went on, I'm gonna guess 5 decades. I think it ended in the 70s and it began like maybe the 40s, 50s. Let me look this up. Lobotomy. Okay, wait. Okay. 40s, yeah, 1949. Developed by Portuguese neurologist Antonio Egas Moniz, who won the Nobel Prize for the procedure in 1949. Okay, in the 1940s, American neurologist Walter Freeman, that's what I was thinking of, popularized the transorbital or ice pick lobotomy. There we go. The ice pick. This method involved inserting a sharp instrument through the upper eyelid, piercing the thin bone of the eye socket, and moving the instrument side to side to destroy brain tissue. And this guy did not have a license. This guy was shady as hell. And he was able to do this. Let me see. Walter Freeman. Let's see. Walter Freeman. How long perform lobotomies? Dr. Walter Freeman, performed lobotomies for about 4 decades. He scrambled people's brain tissue for 4 freaking decades plus, or more or less. Isn't that crazy? Be right back. I gotta use the restroom. One sec. Thanks. Hello. Hey guys. Hey gang. Whew. Yeah. Hey Pastry Mason. Shando's doing well. He's actually visiting with the family right now. He likes to hang out with the other dog a lot, even though the other dog's a bit of a party pooper. He's an older dog. Not that old though. He's like middle-aged. I guess 7 years old, so he'd be like maybe 50 in dog years. I was homeless once. It was called divorce, and now I live with my brother. Well, I'm glad you have a brother to take you in, man. It's good to have family. It really is. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's another thing, man. I'm careful about who I end up with because I really don't want to deal with that sort of thing. You know? You like my chin dimple. Thank you, David. You know, a lot of people like it, and I've actually thought about, like, because I was bullied for it for a few, and on here I've been bullied for it, by trolls. I've had people tell me, like, call me Crimson Chin and all that. And, it doesn't really, it used to bother me. It kind of took me back to when I was a kid and people would make fun of it. It wasn't very common when not many people made fun of it. Most people thought it was cute. But you know how we always focus on the negative. But now that I'm older and wiser, I'm able to sit back and reconsider, like, why people are saying these things to me. They're saying these things to me just to hurt me. And most people think it's cute. So I should listen to the people who, have nice things to say about it, rather than thinking, oh, if I had this much money, I'd get this type of surgery, Thank you. It's nice. As a person who used to work outside, I did wear long sleeves. Eventually, the whole shirt became soaked with sweat, and it keeps you cool. But now a winter jacket, I don't know. Nope, yeah. That wasn't even a jacket, dude. That was a full-blown ass, like, Arctic tundra coat. And it was a very big, hefty, long one. Like, this jacket had to weigh like 50 pounds. It was a heavy-ass coat. Do I like Greek salad? I must have had a Greek salad at some point. let me look that up. Curious to know what a Greek salad is comprised of. I would love to start making salads because it's summertime, and I actually make good salads. Let me see. What is a Greek salad? Oh, that looks good. Feta. Greek salad recipe. Oh, that looks so freaking good. And I love cherry tomatoes. That looks really... Next time I go to the store, I'll get some salad ingredients. I should eat more salad. I don't eat enough greens. Let's see. Oopsie. Yeah, that's nice. For some reason. Okay. That looks good. I love feta cheese in a salad. Gorgonzola is really good in salad. Have you guys ever had a salad with red grapes chopped up in gorgonzola cheese? Hello. That is so freaking delicious. They was like, she's got common sense. Hey, we found another one with common sense, everybody. Hey, okay. Just come to Utah. It's just a better version of the West Coast minus the breach. It's like Texas meets Cali in the best way. Haha. Nice. I should be open to exploring other states. Yeah, and Oregon does need more conservatives. We have, my hairdresser was conservative too, She was one of the nicest people I ever met. And I was liberal back then, She was super nice to me. Not a single one of my conservative friends, even when I was liberal, was ever mean to me. Ever. Not once. We could have respectful disagreements, but there was never any of this, just nastiness and threats even. I've been threatened. Oh yeah, I was afraid for my life at one point when somebody reacted to, you know, I mean, they asked me the questions. They gauged, because it was election, like around the time of the election, who I was voting for, and I was pretty afraid right there, you know, just the reaction was really, really weird. Sometimes I wonder if they didn't go near me because I had big old Shando with me. You know? Wouldn't surprise me one bit. I was a Democrat for most of my life until I opened my eyes. I don't watch Fox News, you moron. Anti-Semitic jerk-off. The gray tone jerk-off. Thank you for joining Ruby at I Paint Code. Thank you very much, man. I'm a little behind. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to catch up. I'm gonna miss quite a few comments, unfortunately. But that's kind of... The bigger my channel gets, the more that's just par for the course, I guess. But I try. Thank you, Money. Thank you for the gift, man. Thank you, IJ. Let's get up to 200 likes, guys. Wow, we're really getting there quickly this time. Sweet. It's fun observing this generation. It's disconcerting to say the least. Yeah, we need to dismantle this whole education system and build it back up. It all, you know, I mean, ever since No Child Left Behind, it applies to the lowest common denominator. And now they try to make it so that people are accepted into schools, and it still happens in some places. People are only accepted into schools or whatever based on the color of their skin, or whether they're like an oppressed minority or not. Like, you know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And in some cases, they're even, they reject Asians for some reason. It's just so weird, man. People should be chosen based on their credentials, based on their qualifications, how hard they work, how much they apply themselves. It shouldn't have anything to do with race. It shouldn't have anything to do with identity. That right there is racism in and of itself. And it's all due to left-wing policies. That's how they've really screwed themselves over. That's why you have this division within the Democratic Party. I've heard, and I'm not sure if this is really true, but they're dividing into two separate parties because people who've been Democrat their whole lives, like 90s Democrats, they're sickened by what they're seeing with their party and with all the identity politics and all that, and the violence and the lies, the media lies that people suck up to, dancing on Charlie Kirk's grave and lying about him, continuing to propagate these lies even when they've been debunked a million times, because they don't care about the truth. They only care about pushing an agenda and pushing their narrative down our throats. It's tyrannical. Interesting how they try to make us out to be like that, when really, I mean, sure there are bad conservatives, and I know there are good Democrats, but, you know, it's, we can't deny what we're seeing. You know, look at the Democrat-run states. That they're the ones with the most homelessness, like we were just talking about. Did you notice that? Charlie Kirk was exposing too much about Israel and they took him out. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff that... No, I don't think so. I mean, that sounds like something Candace Owens would say, honestly. It was some radical-ass, left-wing, furry lunatic who did it. I mean, the proof points to that. All the proof points to that. It was this one guy who happened to be a radical leftist furry. Yep, they're trying to ruin our country. Absolutely. It's getting closer and closer to purge agenda with each day as the heavy violence increases. Yeah, it's weird. And these people, they actually want a civil war, man. They actually want a civil war. I've heard a few of these guys just come out and say it. We want a civil war, you know, like, I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, I mean, I've heard people actually say they want a civil war, and it's always the left. I haven't heard anyone on the right say they want a civil war. Oh, I'm not projecting anything. I'm just spitting out fucking facts, bitch. What the fuck, our country is going to shit. Yeah, it is. There's a lot that needs to be fixed. You know? At least, I mean, if Kamala was in office, we'd probably be worse off than the UK right now. With all the G grapes happening to young women. Because that stuff seems to fly in certain countries. They literally see women as cattle, these people. I'm not saying all of them see it that way, but that's how their whole system is run. And they really do ingrain it into some of their citizens that that's how life should be, treating women like cattle. Yeah, I was a Bernie girl back then, back in like 2016. I loved Bernie back then, but nah, not anymore. Not anymore. He's fake. He's fake. He disappointed me. And I don't know, I mean, I always thought he was like democratic socialist, and I can kind of agree with certain, ideals with democratic socialism, but I don't think they should be giving all the free stuff to illegal immigrants while we have homeless, suffering Americans on our streets, or just Americans who can't even afford to pay rent or food or anything like that. The average millennial, from what I've heard, the average millennial owns their own house by age like 49. Why not just round it up to 50? It's crazy. Yep, we need to purge all the government. That's why I also think it would be good for him to just release all these Epstein files and expose all these fuckers, especially someone like Bill Gates. Because it's not just the files with Bill Gates, it's crimes against humanity. I'll say allegedly. Allegedly for YouTube's sake, even though we know it's true. Allegedly, he's releasing ticks over the population in places where they're not even native. He's all into fake meat, making everyone vegan. It's crazy shit, man. No, we need a wall. We need for people to come to this country legally. Because here's the thing, it sets an example. It makes it so that they're not allowed to just throw all of their criminals onto us. That our crime has just skyrocketed ever since Biden. And, I mean, Washington, D.C. is so much better off with Trump. And it's getting better and better, except you have all these sanctuary cities refusing to comply. And they're telling students, got dumbass teachers telling students to leave the classroom so they can protest, which is they're using these kids as pawns. These kids are literal fucking pawns to them. And they do not care about these kids' safety. They don't care about these kids whatsoever. They only care about driving their agenda home. And also, they know that these kids are probably not going to get arrested because they're children. They literally are sending these children out there like pawns. Can you touch your elbows behind your back? You have crazy good mobility. Well, often when I'm wearing my backpack and I have like little side pockets, I I like grab something out like that, like out of there. Yeah, I can kind of. Let's see. What do you ask me to do? Can you touch your elbows behind your back? I'm curious to see if I can. Let's see if I can do that. Let's see if I can do that. Ooh, snap. I don't want anything to happen to my lovely controller. There we go. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, I don't think I can, actually. Come on. Come on. Come on. I can't, dude. There's no way. There's just no way. I can't do it. I can't do it. Nope. Not gonna be able to do that, buddy. Bend arms first? Okay, I'll try that. Like this, maybe? Like, oh, okay. Yeah, I can't do it, buddy. Like, yeah. There's just not even close. Maybe like, yeah, I can't do it. Not as flexible as I look, I guess. Well, thank you, Brian. Brian Doe. I was close. I know why you want me to try again. Okay. One more time. Yeah. I got the muscles. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I can, no matter. Ooh, my back. Ouch. Okay, 1 sec. Gotta be careful. Don't want to force it. Muscles. A for effort. Oh, thank you. I get a golden star. I didn't even know I had this art book, and I was really happy that I found it. The Disasters of War by Francisco Goya. Someone was mentioning that they really like Goya. But it's all black and white etchings. Like that, you know? It's kind of cool. I really like Goya, but I really love his paintings. Actually, you know, I really do love these etchings. They're just so full of motion and cartloads for the cemetery. Ooh, that's some spooky stuff. But actually, this was stuff that actually happened then. It's a very dark book. The Disasters of War. I mean, it's really no wonder that his paintings were so haunting. And like when you look deep into the eyes of all his subjects, their eyes are like beetle black. Like they've lost their souls or something. It's just very interesting artist. I just wanted to show you that because I found it. Anywho, hi. 2 more likes to 200. That's right. Thank you. Someone's going to become the 200th like. We're going to start reading the Bible now, though, because it's been 1.5 hours, and I did say we would live stream for just 1 hour. I knew we'd go a little longer than I say, but yeah, that might be a good idea. I'd like to go downstairs and visit my mom again, see how she's doing. Heart, mind, body, and soul. That's right. I'm going to call tonight, Ann. It was nice seeing you. It was nice seeing you too, Lewis. You take care and have a good sleep. His black paintings were insane. Oh, I know, right? Let's, for anyone who doesn't know, let's show everybody what those look like. Black paintings by Francisco Goya. Yep. Black painting, Goya. Have you ever seen Saturn devouring his sons? That's a creepy one. But you got to admit that the dude he's eating, like a burrito, literally, this guy has a big butt. Black paintings. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, stuff like this, I mean, it's very haunting, very beautiful. You know? Let's show you a few more here. Duel with... That was Atropos, the Fates. Duel with Cudgels. This is the early 1800s. 2 men fighting. Looks like... I don't know. Reminds me of Cain and Abel a little bit. Like That's how I always imagined the setting of Cain and Abel a little bit, except that Cain wouldn't be fighting back. He'd be, just going around minding his own business, and then Cain sneaks up on him. But yeah, that's not Cain and Abel. That's Duel with Cudgels. Just a duel. There's that one. Oh, man. There's some good chiaroscuro right there, or tenebrism. Just a word that it's like a technique where you apply light and dark contrasts. There you go. There's some, oh man, that's creepy. Look at the faces. They almost look demonic. There you go. I mean, there's a lot of them. The dog. This is a dog. Holy crap, it's just a dog peeking out. That's cool. I like that. Here's Saturn devouring one of his children. That's the one I'm talking about. He got a big booty. Look at that big booty. Anyway, that's creepy as hell. That's the scariest painting I can think of, honestly. There you go. I know, right? Creativity is intelligence having fun. That's right. Hey, would anyone like to see my paintings? Sorry, my chair's a little bit messy. That's why I'm kind of bouncing up and down. So let me show you the one I'm working on. I'm working on a portrait of Christ. This is a commission. It's already sold. Here's my... Still working on it. It's got just a few more details. I mean, I've already signed it, so we're pretty much there, practically. I just want to just kind of go over it, refine certain features, maybe add a few more little striking details. But I like the way the hands turned out there and everything. Let's see if I can get a better lighting on that. There we go. You guys can kind of see the detail there. Not sure how well you see it, honestly, but I like the way the hands turned out. And the face and everything. I like the way the thorns turned out. I like the way I made them bright red. Okay, so I'm putting that back. It's still a little bit damp. It's crazy how long that takes to dry. It's been a long time since I painted in oil, so here's a painting I did a while back. It's of my best friend, Adrian. He passed away 5 years ago, but he was my muse and my kindred spirit, my best friend, and I kind of cried while I painted this. I just really poured my entire soul into it, my whole heart. But that's oil on panel, same size as the painting of Christ. I put that up on my wall. There's that one. And I'll show you this one since it's right here. Here's a portrait of John Steinbeck, watercolor and charcoal on paper. I did this one at my grandma's house, and I really love watercolor. I love how portable it is, how clean it is. It's not as much of a pain in the butt to set up. Although oil is my favorite medium because it's malleable and luscious, and they're different. It depends on my mood, and what I'm being commissioned for or whatever. But I do best with organic subjects, like living subjects, such as portraits of people. I do very well. Pet portraits I can do very well. Animals, dogs and cats. And I can do landscapes pretty well. The subjects I have the most trouble with, because I haven't really practiced much with it, is like maybe drawing a motorcycle and showcasing all the little components of that motorcycle and making it make sense with a drawing or whatever. I could probably abstract a motorcycle pretty well and make it look pretty cool, but make it look intentional and like the way you'd kind of see a motorcycle if it were going past you in a blur, right? But I need more practice when it comes to painting like machinery, that sort of stuff, like geometrical elements that are non-organic. A good way to draw hands is you envision a box of French fries. Now let me explain. you want to envision this like it's a box of French fries. Now, you have a perfect square for the hand right here, like for the where the palm is right there, you know? And then you have a triangle that's of equal height for the fingers. And then you have a chicken leg next to it, attached to it for the thumb. You have a little oval, and then you have a stick sticking out of it like that, just a stick. Okay, and then you basically draw the fingers within that triangle. Middle finger should be at the very highest point of that triangle, and also all 4 fingers there fit within the triangle. And then, and also add the joints too, you know, like right there, there. And then you can trace that. In fact, I can show you an example very, very quickly here. Let me see. Got a little notebook. This is going to be a little difficult showing you like this, but let me show you. That's why I have a dimple, because I do this all the time. Anyway, so we got a little. So yeah. Okay. And just showing you very quick. Okay, it's not that serious. So like an oval there, like I don't know if y'all, well, you guys see that, and then a little stick sticking out, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. See that? Like that. I don't know if you guys see that very well. And then you just sort of, okay, now again, that square is just a little bit too wide. You know, you can refine it, you know, this is just a very rough presentation here. Okay, so you just sort of trace over, you know, kind of, oh yeah, you gotta add the little joints too. Can't forget that. And you just sort of, you know, trace around where the fingers are supposed to be, like that. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. I think I kind of messed it up just a tad bit there, and actually, let's see. Yeah, like that. Yeah, what's that? It's a good. Okay, and I kind of messed it up. Sorry. Yeah, it's just kind of weird. I can't really draw like that. Let me see here. I'm just gonna I'm gonna try to go fast here. Okay. Also, it's one of those things where you probably want to use a pencil. Just gonna make sure that the finger is about the same length as the palm, right? But yeah, it's pretty cool. Practice it. Takes a little practice. Think about that Jody girl you're saying people don't forget yet you're judging them based on comments, huh? Pastry, YouTube, oh boy, we're fighting now. The way I draw eyes is honestly closing mine, and I can see where every outline and vessel I need to outline. Then I go from there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, you can use any technique if it works. Absolutely. Like with the face, I mean, it's all about proportion and measurements. Like, for instance, you draw a round skull, round circle for the skull. Then you draw a line, right? You just draw a line cutting right through that. And then you have like a, you know, you do the, you know, like the other part of the face right there, like that. And this is where you'd have the eyes right there. And you want for the eyes to be on level with the ear, right between the eyes. You just like really draw those 2 circles like they're sockets. And you have a triangle right in between for the nose. And let me just show you these measurements here. So this is where the eyes would be. This is an eye right here. Eye right there, right there. And then you little triangle for the nose. And this is where the mouth would be approximately, right? And then you have the ears right where the eyes are. That's actually not bad. Not a bad little demonstration there, to be honest. And then, yeah, that's right there, guys. See? Those are proportions. Now let's add a little bit of hair there. And then, Little eyebrows right there. And then, there we go. There's the eyes. And then we can, also with the nose, it's good to make a little ball for where the tip is. Now, kind of like that. And a little dark, some dark nostrils there. I made the nose just a tiny bit too long there, but it's not bad. There we go. There's a proportionately accurate human face just about there. A little bit cartoony. Looks like a 15-year-old boy. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Manamsky. Thank you. You've got a soothing voice. You might try an ASMR sketch video or something. Appreciate the advice of drawing hands. Yo, that's a great idea. I was thinking about ASMR, but incorporating art, like little art tutorials into it, it would also do me some good, you know, incorporate a little more practice into my day. While also teaching other people. That would be awesome. That's a great idea, man. In fact, I'll write it down just so I'll remember to implement it into my material here. ASMR with drawing. We could also have like Pictionary. We could play Pictionary where you guys guess what I'm drawing. With drawing tutorials. Not a bad idea. Thank you. Markiplier, oh my gosh, I haven't seen Markiplier in a long time. Markiplier once said, there will be people who bring you down, especially in comments. You need to believe in yourself to be successful. Believing in yourself is all that matters. You're right about that. Absolutely, Gammanator. Absolutely. I should watch more Markiplier. That's some good advice. I mean, when I started out with this live streaming, I knew it'd be par for the course that there would be bullies. And I also thought to myself, well, you have huge YouTubers who must get a whole lot of shit. You know, they're outspoken about their politics, you know, all this other stuff. And they do talk about being bullied and even threatened, you know, given death threats and stuff like that. You know, it is par for the course. And if I couldn't handle the game, I would have probably never bothered knowing what it might lead to, you know, but I see these people as just being they're probably just really insecure, sad individuals, and I feel sorry. I have pity for them. Your life must be, you know, pretty unsatisfactory if you're online bullying people, you know. What's going on with Pastry, man? Hey, Pastry. How come whenever there's an issue where people in the chat are fighting, you're involved? I'm starting to, you know, I'm starting to question why you're here. Are you here to cause a fight and make people leave, or what? Oh, like, what's your issue? Why are you always involved in the fight? We're not here to insult people in my chat. I honestly, I don't know what started this, but I don't. All I know is that you're always involved. Anyhow, let's read some Bible verses and end it. It's almost 11 o'clock. Don't forget to like and subscribe, everyone. Would you like to go camping this weekend with me? I have a nice 2-man tent. I love camping, but I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to do that, man. I'd have to get to know you first. Subscribe. Most interesting stream I've seen in ages. Oh, thank you, Chris. That means a lot to me, dude. Thank you. And no, I don't look anything like Elliot Page. Romans 8. Thank you. Romans 8. I like Romans. Good choice. Chapter 8. Okay, we'll read this whole chapter. It's a good one. And I need my glasses. I just had them. I literally just had them. Where did I put them? One sec. I think they're over here. I know I have another pair that I like even better. Just can't find them anywhere. Huh. Oh, wait a minute. Did I put them in here? I did not. Did I? No, I thought I put them in that cup for a minute. Okay. Everybody like a cyclone. Okay, chapter 8 of Romans. You're most welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Brendo. Thank you. Man, a Sunday sounds good. Banana split. Okay, I'm going to start. There is, therefore, now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. For the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus has set me free from the law of sin and death. For God has... Oh, great. As soon as I start reading. Let me go get my little charger, guys. Sorry about that. We will not let it try to stop us. Okay, one sec. I'll do this. Convenient. Okay. I'll start over. Get comfortable. Whoops. Okay. There is, therefore, now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. For the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus has set me free from the law of sin and death. For God has done what the law, weakened by the flesh, could not do, sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin he condemned sin in the flesh, in order that the just requirement of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. Turn off this fan a little. Yeah. For those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on the things of the Spirit. To set the mind on the flesh is death, but to set the mind on the Spirit is life and peace. For the mind that is set on the flesh is hostile to God. It does not submit to God's law. Indeed, it cannot. And those who are in the flesh cannot please God. But you are not in the flesh, you are in the Spirit, if the Spirit of God really dwells in you. Anyone who does not have the Spirit of Christ does not belong to him. But if Christ is in you, although your bodies are dead because of sin, your spirits are alive because of righteousness. If the Spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you, he who raised Christ Jesus from the dead will give life to your mortal bodies also through the Spirit who dwells in you. So then, brethren, we are debtors, not to the flesh, to live according to the flesh. For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, you will live. For all who are led by the Spirit of God are sons of God. For you did not receive the spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you have received the spirit of sonship, when we cry, Abba, Father. It is the Spirit himself bearing witness to our spirit that we are children of God, and if children, then heirs, heirs of God and fellow heirs with Christ, provided we suffer with him in order that we may also be glorified with him. Excuse me. I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us. For the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not of its own will, but by the will of him who subjected it in hope. Because the creation itself will be set free from its bondage to decay and obtain the glorious liberty of the children of God. We know that the whole creation has been groaning and travail together until now, and not only the creation, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly as we wait for adoption as sons, the redemption of our bodies. For in this hope we are saved. We were saved, I mean. Now hope that is seen is not hope. For who hopes for what he sees? But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience. Likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. For we do not know how to pray as we ought. But the Spirit himself intercedes for us with sighs too deep for words. And he who searches the hearts of men knows what is the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for the saints according to the will of God. We know that in everything God works for good with those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. For those whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, in order that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. And those whom he predestined, he also called. And those whom he called, he also justified. And those whom he justified, he also glorified. What then shall we say to this? If God is for us, who is against us? He who did not spare his own Son, but gave him up for us all, will he not also give us all things with him? Who shall bring any charge against God's elect? It is God who justifies. Who is to condemn? It is God who justifies. Who is to condemn? Is it Christ Jesus, who died? Yes. Who was raised from the dead? Who is at the right hand of God? Who indeed intercedes for us? Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulation or distress, or persecution or famine, or nakedness or peril or sword? As it is written, for thy sake we are being killed all the day long. We are regarded as sheep to be slaughtered. No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For I am sure that neither death nor life, nor angels nor principalities, nor things present nor things to come, nor powers nor height, nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God and Christ Jesus our Lord. Amen. Very good. We got some creeps in this chat. Weirdo. M. Keys is a weirdo. Thank you. Thank you very much for the recommendation. Yeah, it is a deep chapter. Absolutely. I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you doing? Amen. Let's read 4 more. 4 shorter ones. So let's see. Ooh. How about Micah, chapter 6, verse 8. He has showed you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God. Chapter 8, verse 18 is my favorite verse. Definitely one to keep in mind on those hard days. That's a really good one. Yeah. Hey, you have a good night too, shorts and stuff. Zephaniah? Do you mean like Zechariah? Zephaniah doesn't ring a bell to me. But let's read Proverbs. Let's read some Proverbs. Might read chapter 2 Proverbs because we were kind of going chronologically with Proverbs. We read chapter 1 yesterday. Let me just see how long chapter 2 is. Yeah, let's read chapter 2 of Proverbs. My son, if you receive my words and treasure up my commandments with you, making your ear attentive to wisdom and inclining your heart to understanding, yes, if you cry out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek it like silver and search for it as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God, for the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity, guarding the paths of justice and preserving the way of his saints. Then you will understand righteousness and justice and equity, every good path. For wisdom will come into your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will watch over you, understanding will guard you, delivering you from the way of evil, from men of perverted speech, who forsake the paths of uprightness, to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice in doing evil and delight in the perverseness of evil. Men whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways. You will be saved from the loose woman, from the adventuress with her smooth words, who forsakes the companion of her youth and forgets the covenant of her God. For her house sinks down to death, and her paths to the shades. None who go to her come back, nor do they regain the paths of life. So you will walk in the way of good men, and keep to the paths of the righteous. For the upright will inhabit the land, and men of integrity will remain in it. That's a good one. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be rooted out of it. Lovely. Okay, now let's read some, how about some Psalms? Psalms are always good. How about Job? Because I haven't read Job very much. How about Job chapter 29, verse 9. 9 all the way down to 18. No. We'll just keep reading until it's cohesive. And now I have become their song. I am a byword to them. They abhor me, they keep aloof from me. They do not hesitate to spit at the sight of me, because God has loosed my cord and humbled me. They have cast off restraint in my presence. On my right hand the rabble rise. They drive me forth. They cast up against me their ways of destruction. They break up my path. They promote my calamity. No one restrains them. As through a wide breach they come, amid the crash they roll in. Terrors are turned upon me. My honor is pursued as by the wind, and my prosperity has passed away like a cloud. And now my soul is poured out within me. Days of affliction have taken hold of me. The night racks my bones, and the pain that gnaws me takes no rest. With violence it seizes my garment. It binds me about like the collar of my tunic. God has cast me into the mire, and I have become like dust and ashes. I cry to thee, and thou dost not answer me. I stand, and thou dost not heed me. Thou hast turned cruel to me. With the might of thy hand thou dost persecute me. Thou liftest me up on the wind, thou makest me ride on it, and thou tossest me about in the roar of the storm. Yeah, I know that thou wilt bring me to death. I know that thou wilt bring me to death, and to the house appointed for all living. Yet does not one in a heap of ruins stretch out his hand, and in his disaster cry for help? Did not I weep for him whose day was hard? Was not my soul grieved for the poor? But when I looked for good, evil came, and when I waited for light, darkness came. My heart is in turmoil and is never still. Days of affliction come to meet me. I go about blackened, but not by the sun. I stand up in the assembly and cry for help. I am a brother of jackals and a companion of ostriches. My skin turns black and falls from me. Sounds like gangrene, to be honest. And my bones burn with heat. My lyre is turned to mourning. My lyre, an instrument, is turned to mourning, and my pipe to the voice of those who weep. That's a very, very intense one. I feel like I should have just read that whole chapter. Next time I'll just read that whole chapter, actually, because that's a good one. Yeah, the first part of it, actually, I'll read the first part. But now they make sport of me, men who are younger than I, whose fathers I would have disdained to set with the dogs of my flock. What can I gain from the strength of their hands, men whose vigor is gone? Through want and hard hunger, they gnaw the dry and desolate ground. They pick mallow and the leaves of bushes, and to warm themselves the roots of the broom. They are driven out from among men. They shout after them as after a thief. In the gullies of the torrents they must dwell, in the holes of the earth and of the rocks. Among the bushes they bray, under the nettles they huddle together. A senseless and disreputable brood, they have been whipped out of the land. And now I have become their song. That's where I started before. It's pretty good. In fact, I want to leave a little bookmark there because I'd like to read more of Job. That's pretty good. We'll read 2 more. Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my victorious right hand. I'll read 2 more. How about Luke? We'll read the book of Luke. This is a good one of my favorites, actually. Luke chapter 12, verse 22 all the way down to 35. And he said to his disciples, therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you shall eat, nor about your body, what you shall put on. For life is more than food, and the body more than clothing. Consider the ravens. They neither sow nor reap.
They have neither storehouse nor barn, and yet God feeds them. Of how much more value are you than the birds? And which of you, by being anxious, can add a cubit of his span of life to his span of life? If then you are not able to do as small a thing as that, why are you anxious about the rest? Consider the lilies how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass which is alive in the field today, and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O men of little faith? And do not seek what you are to eat and what you are to drink, nor be of anxious mind. For all the nations of the world seek these things, and your Father knows that you need them. Instead, seek his kingdom, and these things shall be yours as well. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give alms. Provide yourselves with purses that do not grow old, with a treasure in the heavens that does not fail, where no thief approaches and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. One more. Thanks, guys. How about... How about... Okay, this is a really good one. One of my absolute favorites. In fact, there should be a star above it because I love this one. So, Romans chapter 5, verse 3 down to 6. More than that, we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. And hope does not disappoint us, because God's love has been poured into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. That's so beautiful. All right. Amen. Wow, someone's being a jerk, huh? Let's ignore that person. Yeah, they're not worth it. Not worth it. Ooh, I love Toys R Us. When I was a kid, I used to go there Christmas time. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for coming to my channel. Please don't forget to double tap the screen, like and subscribe. Thank you, Trey. Yeah, it's a good thing to be positive. I try to think positive thoughts and keep a gratitude list. Keeping a gratitude list is very helpful, I think, especially when you're trying to recover and get back into doing the things you love to do. And life is more than addiction and suffering, and we can improve our situations. We have a choice, man. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I mean, things might not be good, but we're in control of how we respond to things. Knowledge and wisdom is really, really powerful, When you're younger, it's just, I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to be 25 again. I was so freaking lost. I was so uncertain, so naive. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, Mr. Vision, for being here. I really not being a jerk. Just wondering what you think of my idea. I'm sorry. I didn't see it. Let me see if I can find it. Veneer. Sorry, I haven't read every single comment here. It's a little difficult to try to do that. I don't know. Can't find it, man. I'm sorry. You're about to say it? Sure, you can say it. Hey, hi, MViddy. How are you doing? I would say experiencing new things gives us wisdom. Because honestly, you have 10-year-olds with 10-year-olds with more life experience than some old people, you know? It depends, like some people are just so sheltered, like for instance, like a Hollywood celebrity, for instance. They don't know what the real world is like. They live in their own little world, you know, where everything is they're rich as hell and they have all these advantages, you know. I mean, fame doesn't sound like any fun to me, but you know, I mean, then you have like 10-year-olds who live in the slums and have to, you know, support their whole family, you know. Sometimes like your parents pass away and you have to, you know, be the man or the woman of the house when they're gone, or you know, I mean, it's different. I do believe it depends on experiences more than the time you've lived on this earth, because there are some people who are pretty, you know, foolish even though they're like, you know, over 70 even. Thank you for reading that. You're most welcome. Well, I mean, they're different. I would assume there are different kinds of slums depending on where they are, but yeah, I mean, my point is that there are some kids who have to take on adult responsibilities, and there are some older people like 50, 60, 70s, like, you know, who never matured, never grew up, always entitled, always blaming the world for their problems, never taking accountability. I've met older people who are like that. So, you know, it depends. It really depends. Experience is key. Yep. I believe that you never grow up. You just get old. The maturity is a myth. And that knowing and having the wisdom to do the right thing is the right time, because that's something that people take granted. Yeah. Absolutely. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? You guys take care, okay? Much love. Take care. And thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Charisma. Or Chrisma. Chris Max. Thank you. Thank you, Fenrir. Okay. So it presented itself in different ways to different cultures so they understand them. Fenrir, I did not get your initial question there. I'm sorry. If the God of Abraham is the one true God, it would recognize that other cultures of the world need more than just one God. Well, no, that I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not worship false gods before me. I follow the 10 Commandments, and I'm Catholic, and I do not worship more than one God. If that's, yeah, I don't do that. Sorry. Not sorry. Brown person. Thank you, brown person. Thank you, Gemini. Thank you, Willow. Thank you, thank you, Trey. Thank you, Chris X. Thank you, Nvidia. Thank you. Thank you, Pastry Mason. Let's not fight in the chat though, okay? I appreciate you sticking up for me, but it's just a pattern I see where you're always involved, and I don't, you know, we should just ignore these trolls. They don't, it's futile trying to, you know, argue with them. There'll be people, inevitably, who will come in here and they'll see that I'm reading the Bible or whatever, and they'll get mad. Thank you, Chris Larson. She deserves those that are willing to listen. Thank you. Anglicans came after Catholics, dude. When Christ established the first church, anointing Saint Peter as the first pope, the rock upon which he'd build his first church, it was the Catholic Church. Anglicanism came in the 1500s when King Henry VIII wanted to divorce his wife, but the Pope wouldn't let him. And so he threw a tantrum, and he decided to create his own religion so that he could divorce his wife. That's what happened. Anyway. Thank you, Andy Mush. Not gonna lie, she sounds cool as stuff. Thank you. Thank you. I do like Chinese food. Dim sum is my favorite food of all time. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Solitude. I'm probably not going to be able to read all your names, guys, but thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Alessandro. Thank you. I think I said thank you, Kevin. Thank you, S. Dawn. Oh, thank you, Ramon. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Stoner Bob. Your great-grandkids picked this channel name. Thank you, Jody Girl. Thank you, Commentary Connoisseur. Why do I not know how to pronounce that? I know what that word is. Connoisseur. Like a coffee connoisseur. I'm gonna stop before I make myself seem like a fool, which I already am. Thank you very much, Fenrir Blood Moon. No offense, I'm not here to troll. Much love. Oh, you're good, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, 47. I appreciate your questions too, man. No offense taken or anything like that. Thank you, Brindo. I just believe everyone is right as long as they believe to be good people. And I'm on board with that, man. I believe that too. For instance, there's some people who think that you like what if you're a little child, like a baby, and you're born somewhere where they worship multiple gods, or even if they're incorrect, or I don't think that they're gonna go to hell or anything like that, because they're children, they don't know any better, or people who are just ignorance is bliss, or people just don't know anything about the one true God, or I think that it's it needs to be intentional, or if you know that there's a God and you choose to practice Satanism, now that's a different story, something like that. But I think it's complicated. I'm not the judge, that's all in God's hands. He judges everybody accordingly, and I think he has mercy. And I don't think that you have to be Catholic to go to heaven, You just have, like you said, I think you got to be a good person. I think that's the most important. And in fact, he says that in the Bible. It's mentioned in the Bible that, you just need to be a good person to go to heaven. So I think there's a lot of compassion and understanding. I think it's, just people who twist the Bible's meanings to, suit their own, so that they understand it, or to push a narrative, or, little ulterior motive or whatever, we should just read it for what it is, and but also know that God has compassion. And for instance, I don't think that like LGBT people are going to hell, because I think it's not up to me for one thing, it's up to God. And I think he does judge us based on our good deeds and our hearts. What's truly in our hearts has very little to do with the material world, and that is very much mentioned in the Bible too. Yeah. Only God knows our hearts. Anyway, take care. You have a good night, guys. And on that note, take care of yourselves. All right. Bye now. Good night.